And now, Lictus Oil and Propane and Clymer presents Clymer Sherman Panama Wolfpack Baseball play-by-play coverage on the Channel 98.9 Sports Stream at channel989.org. This broadcast is presented by Countertop Solutions, Caflisch Pallet and Wood Supply, Triple E Manufacturing, Necker's Company General Store, Daniels Electric and Flicks Heating and Plumbing, Troyer's Greenhouse, by Stone Audiology, by Whiteland Surveying, J.H. Napa Auto Parts, Mosher Carpeting, J. Edwards Insurance, Utegg's Body Shop, by Lictus Oil and Propane, and Tina Dills, ERA Team VP Licensed Real Estate Agent. And now let's head to the field for all the action of CSP Wolfpack Baseball play-by-play. And now, Lictus Oil and Propane and Clymer presents Clymer Sherman Panama Wolfpack Baseball play-by-play coverage on the Channel 98.9 Sports Stream at channel989.org. This broadcast is presented by Countertop Solutions, Caflisch Pallet and Wood Supply, Triple E Manufacturing, Necker's Company General Store, Daniels Electric and Flicks Heating and Plumbing, Troyer's Greenhouse, by Stone Audiology, by Whiteland Surveying, J.H. Napa Auto Parts, Mosher Carpeting, J. Edwards Insurance, Utegg's Body Shop, by Lictus Oil and Propane, and Tina Dills, ERA Team VP Licensed Real Estate Agent. And now let's head to the field for all the action of CSP Wolfpack Baseball play-by-play. And now, Lictus Oil and Propane and Clymer presents Clymer Sherman Panama Wolfpack Baseball play-by-play coverage on the Channel 98.9 Sports Stream at channel989.org. This broadcast is presented by Countertop Solutions, Caflisch Pallet and Wood Supply, Triple E Manufacturing, Necker's Company General Store, Daniels Electric and Flicks Heating and Plumbing, Troyer's Greenhouse, by Stone Audiology, by Whiteland Surveying, J.H. Napa Auto Parts, Mosher Carpeting, J. Edwards Insurance, Utegg's Body Shop, by Lictus Oil and Propane, and Tina Dills, ERA Team VP Licensed Real Estate Agent. And now let's head to the field for all the action of CSP Wolfpack Baseball play-by-play. And now, Lictus Oil and Propane and Clymer presents Clymer Sherman Panama Wolfpack Baseball play-by-play coverage on the Channel 98.9 Sports Stream at channel989.org. This broadcast is presented by Countertop Solutions, Caflisch Pallet and Wood Supply, Triple E Manufacturing, Necker's Company General Store, Daniels Electric and Flicks Heating and Plumbing, Troyer's Greenhouse, by Stone Audiology, by Whiteland Surveying, J.H. Napa Auto Parts, Mosher Carpeting, J. Edwards Insurance, Utegg's Body Shop, by Lictus Oil and Propane, and Tina Dills, ERA Team VP Licensed Real Estate Agent. And now let's head to the field for all the action of CSP Wolfpack Baseball play-by-play.
And welcome into Clymer, New York for another CSP Wolfpack baseball game. It's senior night here on the diamond, and the Wolfpack proudly bringing forward their 5 seniors for tonight's game. And we'll talk about each of those 5 here in just a minute. Let's talk about where we're at. Game 6 of 8 games in 9 days. Maple Grove tonight in Clymer, tomorrow at Brockton, and then Saturday at Cassadaga Valley wraps up those 8 games in 9 days. Then a very important matchup on Monday, the 19th against Frewsburg, and then finishing the season Wednesday the 21st against Salamanca. Busy week and a half still left for the Pack, who have been through really deep into their pitching staff, and we saw a tough outing yesterday for Johnny Abers and Mason Groders in a 14-0 loss to Westfield. They'll try to turn it around today. Tate Katniss will be on the mound for the Pack, and let's go through the starting lineups real fast here for both teams. First for Maple Grove, hitting first and playing shortstop is Reinhardt. Hitting second and playing second base is Yohe. Hitting third and pitching is Lombardo. Hitting fourth and playing center field is Cornell. Hitting fifth and playing third base is Dar. Hitting sixth and playing first base is Dahlberg. Hitting seventh and playing right field is Brown. Hitting eighth and catching is Pad. And hitting ninth and playing left field is Price. So Lombardo, the pitcher, he'll wear number 3. And then on to the Wolfpack. Hitting first and playing shortstop, that's number 3, Gavin Burchanowski. Hitting second, playing first base, that's number 2, Bryce Hinsdale. First senior on the list today. Hitting third and pitching, that's 14. That's Tate Katniss, the second senior on the list. Hitting fourth, another senior, the third baseman, number 13, Andrew Spiesman. Hitting fifth, the freshman catcher, Max White, wearing number 12. Hitting sixth, another senior, the center fielder, Isaiah Burkholder, wearing 4. Hitting seventh for the Wolfpack is their left fielder, wearing number 5. That is Brady Phelps, another senior. And then hitting 8th, the right fielder, freshman, number 18, Mason Groders. And hitting 9th, second baseman, number 11, sophomore Johnny Abers. So Lombardo v. Catney's on the mound. 5 CSP seniors being celebrated tonight. All 5 in the starting lineup for the Wolfpack as expected and in their regular spots in that starting lineup. Taking a look at the standings, and we're going to go right to the Class C standings and skip the league standings. We're getting ready to get going here on the field. Class C standings, Frewsburg atop the Class C standings at 11-2, 10-0. Gowanda losing last night, falls to 13-3, 11-1. They still sit in second. The Wolfpack, even with their loss, hold on to third at 7-4, 7-3. Faulkner into fourth at 8-4, 7-4. Portville fifth, 7-5, 7-4. Westfield back there in sixth after that win last night. They moved to 6-6, 6-5. And Maple Grove, who the Pack face tonight, are in seventh at 5-7, 5-6. Barker in 8th, Randolph 9th, Chautauqua Lake 10th, and Holland in 11th at 0-9. Casadega Valley would sit in 12th, and Cat Little Valley in 13th, and Western New York Maritime in 14th, all teams that have opted out of the postseason. So this Class C down from 14 teams already to 11, and Holland, the 11, is winless on the season. A pretty good chance they'll also opt out. So this may be a 10-team race for Class C, which takes us to the playoff picture. That if it is 10 teams, there will only be a few pre-quarter round matchups or first round matchups. The top, I believe it's 6 seeds will get a bye. The 7 will play the top 6 seeds will all get a bye, which means CSP's first playoff game would not be until Tuesday, the 27th of May. So about a week or about 6 days after their last regular season game against Salamanca. Unless, of course, something else gets scheduled in the middle, and you never know when that might happen here in Western New York baseball. So the CSP Wolfpack getting ready to go here against the Maple Grove Red Dragons. As we mentioned, it is senior night. They'll have a ceremony after the game tonight. But right now, it's just about getting this thing started and getting that bad taste out of their mouth after yesterday. Mound conference from the infield, and we're ready to get things rocking and rolling here in Clymer as the Wolfpack get ready to try to get back on the winning track after 2 straight losses. Reinhardt, the shortstop for the Dragons, steps into the box. And Tate Catneys is ready to go on the mound. We're going to get this one underway here in Clymer. Pitch number 1 on its way. Called strike. Quickly 0-1. Tate gets his sign. Here's the pitch. High for ball 1. Tate winds and fires the 1-1. Low gets past Max White. Ball 2. So 2-1 now for Tate. Gets his sign. He'll fire to Reinhardt. Low for ball 3. Now it's 3-1. The Wolfpack senior winds and fires. Called strike, and the count goes full. Time for the payoff pitch now for Catneys. Called ball at the bottom of the zone. So Tate walks the leadoff batter Reinhardt, and that'll bring up Yowie, the second baseman. Yowie ready now. Here's the first pitch. Low in the dirt. Blair blocks that pitch down in the dirt. And it's 1-0 to Yowie. Catney's pitch. And called low again. Actually, a little surprised by that call. 2-0. Here's the pitch. Swung on, fouled back. Count now 2-1. A 2-1 count to Yowie with a runner on first. That's Reinhardt. He walked to get this thing started. Cadney's gets his sign from catcher White. He's ready, and here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. White throws to second. The ball there, but not quite in time to make the tag. And Reinhardt is now safe at second. The count to Yowie is 2-2. And Tate will settle in now with a runner on second. He checks that runner. He'll bring the 2-2 to Yowie. Outside for ball 3. Count now full to Yowie. Tate shakes off the first sign, takes the second, checks the runner. The payoff pitch. Swung on and fouled back. Cadney's trying to settle in here in the first. 7th pitch of the at-bat here to Yowie. Called strike 3. Runner steals third on the called strike 3. That's Reinhardt. He advances up to third base. And now Lombardo, the pitcher, stepping in. He's the 3-hitter for the Dragons today. Lombardo with 1 on and 1 runner on third. Cadney's first pitch to him, swing and a miss. Lombardo back in the box now. Cadney's unleashes one, and there's a swing and a miss. Count is 0-2. Tate finding the zone a little better here on the second half of this. That one gets past White. White will chase it down. They'll make a play at the plate, and the runner is safe. Reinhardt comes home on that wild pitch. And it's 1-0 Maple Grove. Cadney's pitch. Swung on, hit up in the air. Tracking it is Burkholder, and he makes the catch. 2 down now. That'll bring up the center fielder Cornell, hitting in the 4 spot. And he is a very tall batter, I would say, based on where he stands compared to Max White. He's probably 6'2", 6'3". Not as tall as that kid from Brockton the other night, but nonetheless a very tall batter. Big strike zone. And we'll see what Cadney's can do with him. Called strike 1. A 1 from Cadney's to Cornell. Gets his sign. Turns and fires. He swung. And it's 0-2. Cornell tried to check his swing, but the umpire said, no, you went. And it's 0-2 now. Here's the pitch from Cadney's. Inside, chin music. Brushing the batter back, and it's 1-2. Swung on, hit foul, and it will go out of play. Cornell back in the box now. The 1-2 from Cadney's. High for ball 2. Five pitch at bat so far. 2-2 count. Outside for ball 3, and the count goes full. Full count. Here's the pitch from Katniss. Swung on by Cornell. He hits it towards center field. It'll drop in for a base hit. And that'll bring up the 5-hitter, third baseman Dar. Dar comes up with 1 on, 1 in, and 2 out here in the first. A 1-0 lead for Maple Grove. Katniss pitch. Fouled off by Dar. Oh, 1 to Dar now. Swung on, fouled off again. Dar has fouled 2 off to the right side. He's behind 0-2. Throw over to first to try to catch Cornell. And he does. He punches him out. Nice pickoff move there by Katniss, but not before Maple Grove takes a 1-0 lead here halfway through the first on the 98.9 Sports Stream.
Utegg's Body Shop in Corry is helping to bring you this broadcast. Along with collision repair and refinishing, Utegg offers frame straightening services. Located at 633 East Smith Street in Corry. Utegg's Body Shop.
Man, I loved playing high school sports growing up. And it's fun being a fan now, don't get me wrong, but sitting in the stands feels like I'm missing out on all the action, you know? I wanted to get back in the game, so I signed up to be a high school official. It takes me back to my playing days. I'm supporting students, and I get paid to make the big calls. Do you want to see the game up close? Sign up to become an official in New York at highschoolofficials.com.
Support for coverage of CSP baseball action on the Channel 98.9 Lictus Oil and Propane sports stream comes from JH Napa Auto Parts. Your local Napa store stocks auto parts, tools and equipment, and other items for heavy-duty trucks, marine, and farming equipment. Located at 955 North Center Street in Corry and NapaOnline.com.
Funding for this Channel 98.9 Sports Stream broadcast comes from Lictus Oil and Propane in Clymer. Family-owned Lictus Oil and Propane continues to supply liquids and fluids for agriculture, industry, and homeowners. Heating oil and propane services and off-and-on diesel fuel services are also offered. The Channel 98.9 Sports Stream thanks Lictus Oil and Propane for their continued support.
And welcome back into senior night here in Clymer. Halfway through the first inning, it's 1-0 Maple Grove. Final warm-up pitch for their pitcher Lombardo, and there's the throwdown. We'll get this bottom half of the first started here with Gavin Berchanowski stepping in. Lombardo, the pitcher for Maple Grove. Yesterday I commented that the Westfield pitcher seemed wild pregame, threw about 5 or 6 wild pitches in his warm-up, and then Bratton proceeded to pitch an absolute gem against the Wolfpack. I'll refrain from commenting on Lombardo, although I think he did not throw any wild pitches there. So we'll see how this goes. The Wolfpack will try to get the bats going, as yesterday they were stymied by Bratton. Today it's Lombardo for Maple Grove, and Berchanowski is now in the box. First pitch, he swings on it. It's a single right back to second and into center field. A first pitch single for Gavin Berchanowski. That's a good way to get it started. Bryce Hinsdale, the power-hitting lefty. First senior in the lineup. Two-time state champion in football and basketball. Here's the pitch to him. Called strike, and they'll try to throw to Berchanowski. He's at safe at second. So 0-1 now to Hinsdale. When I say two-time state champion, I think I can say that for all of them, except for... Oh, here's the 0-1. No. Lombardo steps off and checks Gavin Berchanowski at second. Anyways, yeah, they've all won multiple state championships, right? Bryce pops that one up in the air. Lombardo can't see it in the sun. The whole team closing, and that one's going to drop next to the mound, and Bryce is safe at first. Got lost in the sun. Error on the pitcher. And Hinsdale's aboard. That makes 2 runners for senior Tate Catneys, and Tate stepping in, much like his teammate Bryce, having an absolutely incredible senior year athletically and ready to try to power his team to victory today. 20, that one's high over his head. They're going to try and gun Burchanowski. The throw goes into the left field, but backed up nicely by the shortstop. That allows Hinsdale to move up to second. So runners now on second and third, and as I was saying, Tate threw 26 pitches in the first. So far, 3 pitches for his opponent. There's the fourth. 2-0 now to Tate. Lombardo turns and fires. Behind, Tate gets away from the catcher, but because of the way the ball bounced off the backstop, neither runner can take advantage. So Tate now facing a 3-0 count. We'll see if they walk the senior here to get to another senior, Andrew Spiesman. Called strike on the outside half. 3-1 to Tate. Catneys with 2 in scoring position. Swings on that one, hits it to center field. He'll score at least 1 here. And here comes Bryce Hinsdale towards the plate. 2 runs will score. And there goes Catneys to second as the ball popped away from the catcher. A 2 RBI single for Catneys. And the Wolfpack take the lead. That brings up yet another senior, Andrew Spiesman, the third baseman. Spies has been hitting in the 4-hole all season. Nothing different today. And a lot of times this season he's had a runner in scoring position. He does once again as Tate stands over there on second. Here's the first pitch. Over Spiesman's head. 1-0 to the senior. The pitch. Swung on, popped up, and out of play. One to Spiesman now. He's got teammate and fellow senior Catneys on second. Hinsdale and Burchanowski have both scored already in this inning. And that one's fouled off by Spiesman. A little late to that one and just kind of got it in on the hands and just knocked it away to keep it from being a strike. 1-2 count to Spiesman. Swing and a miss on the outside, breaking ball. So he goes down swinging. That'll bring up freshman catcher Max White here. Max, 1 out, and of course Catney's on second. First pitch to him, swings and fouls it back. So 0-1 to Max now. That one gets away from the catcher and up goes Catneys to third. White, 1-1. Lombardo's pitch outside for ball 2. Here's the pitch. Outside for ball 3. So now 3-1 to Max White. Big swing and a miss for the freshman. Count goes full. That's the kind of pitch you want to swing at in a 3-1 situation. Strike right down the middle. That one way outside, and Max will walk. Because of the way the ball bounced off the backstop, there was no opportunity for Tate to steal home. That'll bring up the fourth senior in the lineup, Isaiah Burkholder. Burkholder has walked a ton this year. He's also had some very clutch hitting for the Wolfpack. First pitch to him. White takes off for second. No throw. He'll be there safely. 1-0 to Isaiah Burkholder with 2 runners in scoring position and 1 out here in the first. Wolfpack leading 2-1. Swings on that one, hits it high in the air and foul. Lombardo trying to settle in here for the Dragons. As he entered the half inning with a 1-0 lead, he's now trailing 2-1. And another foul off the bat of Isaiah Burkholder. 2 runners in scoring position, 1 out here for Burkholder, an opportunity to extend this Wolfpack lead. And we'll see what kind of fight the senior has here. Takes it, and it's strike 3. 2 outs now. That brings up the last senior in the lineup, Brady Phelps, the left fielder. Brady will take the first pitch for ball 1 way outside. And Brady just needs a little poke into the outfield here to score 2 runs. Takes a thought at that one, but it's a ball. Looked like Brady really wanted to swing at that one. He had to hold himself back. 2-0 to Phelps. Swings on that one. It's a bouncer to third. Fielded cleanly by the third baseman. The throw is in time, and the side is retired. Wolfpack take the lead, 2-1 at the end of the first here on the 98.9 Sports Stream.
Funding for this Channel 98.9 Sports Stream broadcast comes from Lictus Oil and Propane in Clymer. Family-owned Lictus Oil and Propane continues to supply liquids and fluids for agriculture, industry, and homeowners. Heating oil and propane services and off-and-on diesel fuel services are also offered. The Channel 98.9 Sports Stream thanks Lictus Oil and Propane for their continued support.
Financial support for this broadcast of CSP Baseball Play-by-Play on the Channel 98.9 Sports Stream is provided in part by Stone Audiology at 709 East Columbus Avenue in Corry. Also in Bradford, Northeast, and Kane, Pennsylvania. In Jamestown, Olean, Belmont, and Chaffee, New York. Phone 814-664-7070. Online at stoneaudiology.com.
CSP Wolfpack Baseball coverage on the Channel 98.9 Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream is brought to you in part by Troyer's Greenhouse, now open for the season Monday through Saturday. Troyer's Greenhouse is located at 1669 Weeks Road, just 2 miles west of Panama. Go Wolfpack from Troyer's Greenhouse.
Coverage of Wolfpack Baseball on the Channel 98.9 Sports Stream is provided in part by Whiteland Surveying in Clymer, providing land surveys for Chautauqua and Cattaraugus counties in New York and Erie, Warren, and Crawford counties in Pennsylvania. Phone 716-499-8410. Find them online at mwhitepls.com. The Channel 98.9 Sports Stream thanks Whiteland Surveying for their support.
And welcome back in here to senior night as the Wolfpack take a 2-1 lead in the first. We get ready to get the second underway here momentarily. 24 pitches for Lombardo, 26 pitches for Catneys, both not having their best innings in the first. Both give up a run. The Wolfpack take up 2, and it's 2-1 CSP after 1. Reinhardt walked in the first. Then Yohe struck out, a flyout from Lombardo, and then Cornell's single brought home Reinhardt. And that was the way that Maple Grove was able to score. So that means their 5-hitter Dar, who was up when Cornell was thrown out at first, comes back up here to start the second. First pitch to him, hit up in the air and foul to the right side. Oh, 1 to Dar. Swing and a miss. And it's 0-2 now to the third baseman. Tate winds and fires. Swing and a miss, and he sets Dar down to start the inning. Dahlberg, the first baseman, up next. One out already here in the second. Dahlberg ready to face Katniss. Here's the first pitch. He fouls that one off. Oh, 1 now. Tate winds and fires. Dahlberg fouls it off to the right side. Oh, 2 to Dahlberg. That pitch outside for ball 1. And it's 1-2. The 1-2 pitch. Swung on and really swatted to right field. A single for Dahlberg. So with Dahlberg aboard, that'll bring up the 7-hitter, the right fielder Brown. Brown will come up now with 1 on and 1 out here in the second, trailing 2-1. Katniss fires low in the dirt, blocked well by White. Tate waits for his sign. And he pitches. Called strike. 1-1 now. The pitch. Swing and a miss. And it's 1-2. Dahlberg leading off first. Katniss checks him. Now he throws. Fouled off by Brown. The 1-2 count now. Pitch is high and inside for ball 2. 2-2 now. Katniss gets his sign, checks the runner at first, and fires. Hit just over his head. It's going to be fielded on the hop by Gavanowski, and he fumbles it, and both runners are safe. Error on Burchanowski there. And that brings up the 8-hitter Pad. Pad, the catcher, will come up with 1 out and 2 on here in the second. So that error on Burchanowski cost the Wolfpack there. He was trying to get the ball scooped quickly to make the double play and instead bobbled it and allowed both runners to be safe. Here's the first pitch to Pad. Fouled back. Tate trying to settle things down here in the second. Checks the runners and the pitch outside. And it's 1-1. Checks the runners and the pitch. Swing and a miss for Pad. And it's 1-2. Tate going to hope for a ground ball here to get a double play or strikeout. Checking that runner at second and the pitch. And that's low. 2-2. Katniss checks the runners. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, and down goes Pad. 2 down now, and the 9-hitter Price coming up. Price, the left fielder for the Dragons, steps into the box. First pitch to him, called ball. Katniss checks the runner. Delivers. Strike one. 1-1 now to Price. 2 out, 2 on. 2-1 Wolfpack here in the top of the second. The pitch. Swung on and fouled off. And it's 1-2 now for the 9-hitter for the Dragons. The Wolfpack senior Katney is trying to get out of the second here. A big pitch coming up in just a moment. He'll check the runner at second. That's Dahlberg. And now he delivers. Called strike 3. And the side is retired. So nice pitching there from Katniss to get out of this inning. 47 pitches total for him through 2. We're going to take a quick break and let our sponsors have a moment here on the 98.9 Sports Stream.
Funding for this Channel 98.9 Sports Stream broadcast comes from Lictus Oil and Propane in Clymer. Family-owned Lictus Oil and Propane continues to supply liquids and fluids for agriculture, industry, and homeowners. Heating oil and propane services and off-and-on diesel fuel services are also offered. The Channel 98.9 Sports Stream thanks Lictus Oil and Propane for their continued support.
When the game is on the line, championship teams know the game plan. They communicate and work together to win. We all need a game plan to protect ourselves online. Talk to family and friends so they know how to stay safe too. Create strong passwords, turn on multi-factor authentication, update software, and recognize and report phishing, because online safety is not something you want to fumble. Get more game-winning tips at cisa.gov/secure-our-world. Then share them with family and friends.
Support for CSP Wolfpack baseball coverage is provided in part by Tina Dills, ERA Team VP licensed real estate agent, serving the Wolfpack listening area in all of Chautauqua County with real estate services for buyers, sellers, vacation rentals, and all relocation needs. For more information on how to get your move going, Tina can be reached at 716-397-7790. Tina Dills and the ERA Team VP agents wish the Wolfpack the best of luck.
Corry's only locally operated radio station is Channel 98.9. With your eerie weather, your favorite personalities.
Thank you so much for joining us on a Monday.
You see today local news, entertainment, and information around the clock. And Corry's modern rock. Channel 98.9, your one radio station.
And welcome back in here to senior night. A 2-1 ball game through 1.5 here in Clymer. And the Wolfpack 8-9 hitters due up. That's Mason Groders and Johnny Abers, and then back to the top of the lineup. The freshman Groders had a chance to pitch yesterday, as did the sophomore Abers, and Westfield were able to get the bats on them pretty well. They'll try to bounce back today with some solid fielding and hitting performances. We've already seen, a bounce-back day so far, I guess you'd say, for some of the bats, as Gavin Burchanowski led off on a first-pitch single. Katney's had a single. Hinsdale reached by error in the first, and White walked. So Groders will try to keep that going here for the Wolfpack as you get through 7 hitters in the first inning, and now they'll be able to try for a big second if possible. So as I mentioned, 2-1 the score here. Mason Groders, the freshman, about to step into the box. Lombardo, the pitcher, threw 24 in the first inning. First pitch to Groders to get the second underway. Groders swings at the high pitch, and he fouls that one off. Mason takes a swing at a pretty high pitch there, but he was just a little early on it and hit it maybe 8 feet foul. All the way to the fence, though. 0-1 now to Groders. Over his head, behind his back. One now to Groders. That pitch way outside. And it's a 2-1 count. Here's the pitch. Groders gets a piece, fouls it back. And the count goes to 2-2. Nice at bat here for the freshman. 2-2 count. Lombardo gets his sign. Here's the pitch. Way outside, and the count goes full. Payoff pitch time here between Groders and Lombardo. Here it comes. Swing and a miss for Groders, and he's retired. So that brings up sophomore Johnny Abers. Johnny, pretty much the everyday second baseman for the Wolfpack, unless he's pitching or something else different is going on defensively. He did end up playing in the outfield yesterday once he was relieved by Groders. Johnny steps in, and Lombardo's ready to throw. Here's the first pitch to Abers. High, ball one. Top of the lineup coming up behind Abers. Burchanowski would love to have a duck on the pond before his at-bat. Lombardo winds and fires way outside. Abers quickly ahead 2-0. Abers ready for the 2-0 pitch from Lombardo. Here it comes. High, and it's 3-0. Stop sign here for Abers, I'm sure. 3-0 pitch from Lombardo. Low and outside, and he'll walk Abers to give the Wolfpack a base runner. So Burchanowski now singled in the first and then eventually scored. He comes up with one out and one on here in the second, a 2-1 Wolfpack lead. Gavin steps in. It was a first pitch fastball that he swung on and hit to center field. Runner takes off. That's Abers. The ball is thrown very high from the catcher, and Abers is in there safe. Next pitch to Burchanowski. High for a ball. Abers still on second. Here's the pitch from Lombardo. Fouled back. So a 2-1 count for Burchanowski. Here's the pitch. Burchanowski gets a piece. It's going to get into left field for a single. They're going to send Abers from second. He rounds third. He's got a big rounding angle, and he's home. And now after the overthrow to the catcher, Burchanowski moves up to second. 3-1 Wolfpack. Another single for Burchanowski there. And that brings up Bryce Hinsdale, the senior, who reached by error back in the first and eventually scored. He's been the big bat for the Wolfpack so far this season. He steps in. First pitch to Bryce, very high for ball one. Catcher had to jump for that one. 1-0 now to the senior. That one down in the dirt. Now 2-0. Burchanowski took a nice size secondary lead, but decided better of it and went back to second. And it's 2-0 now. And he'll check the runner, step off the bump. Lombardo now. Back on the mound. He pitches. Swung on by Hinsdale, hit to right field. The right fielder tracking it, but it's over his head. That one will bounce off the fence, and Burchanowski will come home to score on the stand-up double from Bryce Hinsdale. Another really nice RBI double from Bryce Hinsdale. He continues to be a big bat for the Wolfpack. That brings up Tate Cadneys, who singled back in the first. Couple RBIs for him there, as he brought in 2 with that single. An opportunity for another one here as he has Hinsdale in scoring position. 4-1 Wolfpack. First pitch to Tate. Way outside. Catcher has to dive for it, and Hinsdale takes off for third. He's there safely. Lombardo seemingly a little frustrated with the way that one got away from him. He'll try to reel it in now behind 1-0. Swung on and crushed by Cadneys to left field. And that one is off the fence. Fielded there. A run scores, a stand-up double. And Tate drives in another one. He's got 3 RBIs on the day. That brings up Andrew Spiesman. Spiesman struck out in the first. He'll come up now with Catanese in scoring position and 1 out here in the second. First pitch to Spiesman. Called strike. Lombardo up to 44 pitches now. Here's his 45th. And Spiesman did swing at that one up high. So it's 0-2 now to the senior. Lombardo checks the runner. Here's the pitch. Spiesman swings and a miss. And he goes down for the second out of the inning. That brings up freshman Max White. White walked in the first. White swings and misses the throw to third. Over the third baseman's head. Catanese is going to take off for home. The left fielder grabs it and has no play. Tate will score on that overthrow. Oh, 0-1 to Max. Now 6-1 Wolfpack. One now. Lombardo gets his sign. Here's the pitch. Over Max's head. And it's 2-1. Lombardo winds and fires. White turns on it. This one's trending foul and will go foul. Nice piece there by Max White. Hit it all the way to the fence. But about 3 chain sections of fencing too far to the left. Count now for White, 2-2. That one way outside. Count goes full. Full count now for Lombardo against the freshman White. That pitch high, he'll walk Max for the second time today. That brings up senior Isaiah Burkholder. He struck out back in the first. As I mentioned back in the first, Isaiah, kind of a patient batter, a lot of walks this year, and some clutch hitting early in the season for Isaiah. He steps in here with 2 out, and 4 runs already driven in this inning. White takes off. He's there safely. So it was a strike to Burkholder, though. Oh, 1. Really high. Make it 1-1. So White stole his way into scoring position. We'll see what Burkholder can do with it. Down low in the dirt, and the count goes to 2-1. Lombardo gets his sign. The 2-1 to Burkholder. Swung on, and that's looking like it's going to drop in left field. Left fielder is there, and he makes the catch. So the side retired, but not before the Wolfpack add 4, and the lead is now 6-1 after 2 here on the 98.9 Sports Stream.
Funding for this Channel 98.9 Sports Stream broadcast comes from Lictus Oil and Propane in Clymer. Family-owned Lictus Oil and Propane continues to supply liquids and fluids for agriculture, industry, and homeowners. Heating oil and propane services and off-and-on diesel fuel services are also offered. The Channel 98.9 Sports Stream thanks Lictus Oil and Propane for their continued support.
Support for Wolfpack baseball coverage on the Channel 98.9 Sports Stream is provided by Countertop Solutions in Clymer. Go Wolfpack from Countertop Solutions.
CSP baseball coverage on the Channel 98.9 Sports Stream is provided in part by Steve Daniels Electric and Flicks Heating and Plumbing and Air Conditioning, located at 147 East Main Street in Corry. They offer residential and light commercial new services, as well as electrical repairs, well pumps, and water conditioning systems. Phone 814-665-6034. Online at flicksheatingplumbingandac.com.
School sports are played by humans, coached by humans, and officiated by humans. So the next time you're sitting in the stands at a school athletic event, please remember this and maintain your humanity, especially when it comes to judging and critiquing athletes, coaches, and officials. Please show your fellow humans some respect. They'll appreciate your empathy.
This message presented by NISFA and the New York State Athletic Administrators Association.
I'm Josh Hosier on the 98.9 Sports Stream. Welcome back into Clymer, New York for senior night as the Wolfpack leads 6-1 after 2 innings. And the Wolfpack in, quite the long stretch here. This is game 6 of 8 in 9 days. After tonight's game against Maple Grove, they'll play tomorrow at Brockton and then Saturday at Casadega Valley before having a day off Sunday to rest for the first time since last Sunday. And then they'll play Frewsburg Monday and Salamanca on Wednesday to end the season. Then it's about a week off before the playoffs will get started for the Pack. But right now, they have a third inning to get going against the Maple Grove Red Dragons, and it's the top of the lineup for the Dragons, Reinhardt, the shortstop, who walked in the first at bat. He swings on the first pitch, drives it to right field. Tracking and catch made out there. Very nice play. And the first out of the inning has been recorded. The right fielder was Mason Groders, made the nice play out there in right field, tracking that ball down. That brings up Yowie, the second baseman. He struck out back in the first. One pitch, one out. Not bad for Tate there to get the first out. This one high for ball one. 1-0 to Yowie now. Tate turns and fires. Called strike. 1-1. The pitch. Fouled off. And the count's 1-2. Tate delivers the 1-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. And down goes Yowie for the second out of the inning. That brings up Lombardo, the pitcher. He flew out back in the first. He comes up trying to protect his own performance on the mound where he trails now in a 6-1 ball game. Cadney's winds and fires outside for ball one. The senior delivers. Fastball swung on, hit towards short, and Burchanowski bobbles it. He'll throw it. Not in time. Error on Burchanowski. And Lombardo aboard for the Dragons. So Burchanowski, 2 errors already in this game. One back in the second, and now this one. That brings up Cornell, the tall left fielder. He had a single in his first at bat back in the first and was thrown out. Speaking of thrown out, Katniss throws over to first to check the runner Lombardo. Tate gets a sign. He'll check the runner again. And here's the pitch. Called strike. Tate up 0-1 on Cornell now. 2 outs, 1 on. That runner reached by error. A bobbled ball by Burchanowski. Swung on and fouled off by Cornell. He's behind 0-2. And Lombardo tried to steal second there, but his teammate fouls that ball off. He'll have to trot back to first. The 0-2 count. Tate shakes off the first 2 signs. Here it comes. Whoa. Sidearm, and that one gets away from Max White. A runner easily to second there. And Tate delivered that one completely sidearm there. Not sure what that pitch is, but very different than anything else we've seen from him so far today. So it's 1-2. That pitch, Cornell fouls off to the right side. Hinsdale chases it to the fence, but unfortunately it is over the fence. Still 1-2 for Cornell. Lombardo, as we mentioned, stands on second. 2 outs. The pitch gets past White, hits the umpire, and Lombardo is up to third. Two count. The pitch, swung on, hit high in the air, and foul. 6 pitches in this at bat already. 2-2 still the count. Tate gets his sign. The 2-2 delivery. Called strike 3, and he ends the inning. 2 strikeouts that inning for Tate Catanese. Wolfpack remain ahead 6-1 here on the 98.9 Sports Stream.
Coverage of CSP Wolfpack Baseball is brought to you in part by Caflisch Pallet and Wood Services in Clymer, a leading provider of new, heat-treated, and recycled pallets and wood services since 1993. Find them online at caflischpallet.com. Phone 716-355-4354. Caflisch Pallet and Wood Services wishes the Wolfpack the best of luck this season.
Support for Wolfpack Baseball on the Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream is provided by Mosher's Carpeting at 8631 East Main Street in Clymer. Mosher's has carpeting and all types of flooring, serving the area for over 27 years. Online at mosherscarpeting.com.
Support for coverage of CSP Baseball on the Channel 98.9 Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream is provided by Triple E Manufacturing in Sherman. Triple E offers equine products, promotional items, embroidery, and printing services. 800-295-4282 or online at tripleemanufacturing.com.
Wolfpack Baseball on the Channel 98.9 Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream is provided in part by Necker's Company General Store, providing Clymer with groceries, apparel, gift items, and so much more for over 100 years. The Channel 98.9 Sports Stream thanks Necker's Company General Store for their support. Funding for this broadcast on the Channel 98.9 Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream is provided in part by J. Edwards Insurance. With offices at 9 East Main Street in Panama and 800 West 3rd Street in Jamestown, J. Edwards Insurance is an independent insurance service providing auto, business, farm, and homeowners insurance. We treat you like family. Online at jedwardsinsurance.com. Best of luck to the Wolfpack this season from J. Edwards Insurance, serving New York and Pennsylvania since 1957.
And welcome back in. A 6-1 ball game. A pitching change for Maple Grove. Lombardo done. Cornell coming on to pitch for them now. And just tallying up his numbers, he faced 15 batters through 2 innings, 4 strikeouts, 3 walks, and he gave up a bunch of hits. I got him for 5 hits and 6 runs. So not a great outing for Lombardo. He's no longer the pitcher, and Cornell, the tall, formerly third baseman, or formerly center fielder, will come on now to pitch. He'll face Brady Phelps, the leadoff batter this inning. So it's Phelps, Groders, Abers, the 7-8-9 duo for the Wolfpack here in the bottom of the third. Phelps in the box. He grounded out back in the first. First pitch to him high for ball 1. And 1-0 to Phelps, the senior. The pitch. Low for ball 2. 2-0 to Phelps. He swings on that one, and it's fielded by the shortstop. The throw to first is in time to retire Phelps. So 1 away now as Mason Groders steps up. He struck out in the second. Cornell winds and fires. Called strike. Oh, 1 to Groders now. Sidearm delivery, got Groders swinging. And it's 0-2. Cornell ready, he throws the 0-2. Way outside, and the count goes to 1-2. Cornell, like Catney's, has a couple different delivery styles depending on what pitch he's throwing. The 1-2, inside, swung on by Groders, and he is out. That brings up Johnny Abers. He walked back in the second, eventually scored the third run of the game for the Wolfpack. And Johnny comes up here in the third with 2 down. That pitch high and outside for ball 1 to Johnny. Next pitch, inside, ball 2. So 2-0 to Abers. Johnny back in the box now. The sophomore awaits the pitch, and Cornell shakes off the sign. He'll take the next one. Here's the 2-0. Low. And it's 3-0 to Abers now. Abers, who drew a walk in the second, 1 pitch away from drawing another here. Cornell shaking off the sign again. Here's the delivery. Called strike very high up in the zone. And it's 3-1 to Abers. Cornell ready now. The 3-1 pitch. Outside, Abers takes a trot down to first for the second time today. Back to the top of the lineup here. Burchanowski, he singled in both at-bats in the first and the second. And you have an opportunity to continue to help the Wolfpack offense here. Burchanowski settling in now in the box with Abers on first and 2 outs. Cornell's first pitch to him low and outside, bounces, and Abers steals second. So 1-0 to Burchanowski. Cornell again shaking off the sign. He'll check the runner. Here's the pitch. Turned on by Burchanowski. Hit to right center. The right fielder tracking in. He'll make the catch. Inning over for the Pack. We'll head to the 4th here in Clymer after this word from our sponsors in the 98.9 Sports Stream.
Utegg's Body Shop in Corry is helping to bring you this broadcast. Along with collision repair and refinishing, Utegg offers frame straightening services. Located at 633 East Smith Street in Corry. Utegg's Body Shop.
Man, I loved playing high school sports growing up. And it's fun being a fan now, don't get me wrong, but sitting in the stands feels like I'm missing out on all the action, you know? I wanted to get back in the game. So I signed up to be a high school official. It takes me back to my playing days. I'm supporting students, and I get paid to make the big calls. Do you want to see the game up close? Sign up to become an official in New York at highschoolofficials.com.
Support for coverage of CSP baseball action on the Channel 98.9 Lictus Oil and Propane sports stream comes from JH Napa Auto Parts. Your local Napa store stocks auto parts, tools and equipment, and other items for heavy-duty trucks, marine, and farming equipment. Located at 955 North Center Street in Corry and NapaOnline.com.
Funding for this Channel 98.9 Sports Stream broadcast comes from Lictus Oil and Propane in Clymer. Family-owned Lictus Oil and Propane continues to supply liquids and fluids for agriculture, industry, and homeowners. Heating oil and propane services and off-and-on diesel fuel services are also offered. The Channel 98.9 Sports Stream thanks Lictus Oil and Propane for their continued support.
And welcome back into Clymer, 6-1 CSP as we head to the top of the fourth. And Maple Grove's 5-batter Dar will be the leadoff man. He struck out back in the second. So far, Tate Catney's through 61 pitches. He'll look to keep it rolling here in the fourth. Dar in the box, and we're ready to get the fourth underway. Swung on, hit towards left. It'll bounce in there for a base knock. And Dar, a leadoff single. The six hitter, the first baseman Dahlberg, up next. Dahlberg reached by a single back in the second. Here's the first pitch. Swung on over the second baseman's head into the center field gap. It will be at least a single, probably a double. Dar's turning and heading home. Cutoff man decides not even to challenge him. Dar scores. And that double from Dahlberg makes it 6-2. Two pitches, two hits so far this inning for Maple Grove. Brown, the right fielder, he reached by error back in the second. He steps up with Dahlberg on second, and Dar already scoring this inning. First pitch to him. Swing and a miss. Oh, 1 to Brown, who's adjusting his gloves. Here's the pitch. Low, gets past White. White will chase it down. Dahlberg safe at third. So now 1-1. Runner on third, no outs. 6-2 the score. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss for Brown. Nice high fastball there from Catney's. And it's a 1-2 count. Tate ready. Here's the pitch. Called strike three right on the top of the zone. Very nice pitch there. And he retires. Brown. That brings up Pad, the catcher. He struck out back in the second. That pitch hits Pad. And Tate ran that fastball right into the shoulder of Pad. So the catcher goes to first, and that brings up the 9-hitter, Price, the left fielder. And time called. Now they'll get him back going. Price, the left fielder. 1 out, 2 on. Throw over to first, holds Pad. And we'll set it up again here with runners on the corners. Catney's checks them and fires. Bunt shown. He gets it up in the air. Tate will catch it, run into Max White, but the play is made. Fires to second, and not quite in time to get the runner Pad coming back, but Price is out. And Max White down after the collision with Tate Catney's. And we're going to send you to a word from our sponsor while the injury timeout.
Funding for this Channel 98.9 Sports Stream broadcast comes from Lictus Oil and Propane in Clymer. Family-owned Lictus Oil and Propane continues to supply liquids and fluids for agriculture, industry, and homeowners. Heating oil and propane services and off-and-on diesel fuel services are also offered. The Channel 98.9 Sports Stream thanks Lictus Oil and Propane for their continued support.
Financial support for this broadcast of CSP Baseball Play-by-Play on the Channel 98.9 Sports Stream is provided in part by Stone Audiology at 709 East Columbus Avenue in Corry. Also in Bradford, Northeast, and Kane, Pennsylvania. In Jamestown, Olean, Belmont, and Chaffee, New York. Phone 814-664-7070. Online at stoneaudiology.com.
CSP Wolfpack baseball coverage on the Channel 98.9 Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream is brought to you in part by Troyer's Greenhouse, now open for the season Monday through Saturday. Troyer's Greenhouse is located at 1669 Weeks Road, just 2 miles west of Panama. Go Wolfpack from Troyer's Greenhouse.
Coverage of Wolfpack baseball on the Channel 98.9 Sports Stream is provided in part by Whiteland Surveying in Clymer, providing land surveys for Chautauqua and Cattaraugus counties in New York and Erie, Warren, and Crawford counties in Pennsylvania. Phone 716-499-8410. Find them online at mwhitepls.com. The Channel 98.9 Sports Stream thanks Whiteland Surveying for their support.
So White comes off under his own power after the injury, but he will be subbed for. Burchanowski will go on to catch now. They'll move Abers over to short, move Groders in from right field to second, and send Caleb Anderson out there to right field. And I believe that just means Anderson takes White's spot in the batting order. Max 2 walks already today. It was a nice part of the offense, and so unfortunate to lose his bat, but also more unfortunate to the freshman catcher who goes down here with an injury, and I'm not sure exactly what that injury was. Waiting for Gavin Burchanowski to get suited up in the catcher gear, and we'll get back to action here. Kind of a crazy turn of events there. And Reinhardt will be up after Price flew out to the pitcher. Brown struck out, so there's 2 outs here. Score is 6-2 Wolfpack. And still no Burchanowski. I think he's almost ready. And I mentioned it's senior night here at the ball field. The Wolfpack with their seniors, all 5 of them. Definitely celebrating those guys tonight and the efforts that they've made for CSP baseball. Bryce Hinsdale, Isaiah Burkholder, Brady Phelps, Andrew Spiesman, and Tate Katniss. So once again, we'll make a point of saying thank you to those 5 gentlemen for their efforts and a lot of state championships this year between the 5 of them. And regardless of how this season ends, it's just been an absolutely incredible senior year for these guys. The last senior night for these fellas. Burchanowski now suited up in that catcher's gear. He comes out to talk to the pitcher, Tate Katniss, and they'll have a conversation about the strategy, and now Gavin heads back behind the plate. So very versatile move here, having another nice catcher like Gavin Burchanowski who can step in from the shortstop role and provide quality catching. The Wolfpack, as I've mentioned, game 6 of 8 and 9 days, trying to get to the end of this stretch and get to the playoffs. The playoffs right around the corner. Pre-quarters on Saturday the 24th, quarterfinals on the 27th, semis on the 29th, and the Section 6 championship on the 31st. The Wolfpack, as it projects right now, are in the 3rd seed in Class C. However, that could change day by day as Portville is in the 4 seed, Westfield and Faulkner right there as well. Those teams could all flip at any point. And all importantly, you want to be on the south side of the bracket, so to speak. You don't want to be on the Frewsburg side of the bracket, although I don't know if Gowanda's any better of a draw. The Wolfpack right now on the Gowanda side of the bracket, but we'll see how things shake out over the next week and how everybody fares along the stretch. Here's the pitch from Katniss, high. Burchanowski thinks about throwing down, decides not to. It's Tate's 70th pitch of the ball game. Runner on second is Pad. Runner on third is Dahlberg. That one hit in the air being tracked by Phelps into foul territory, and he cannot make the play over there, but he almost got to it. Count goes to 1-1. So Pat did run on the previous pitch and get to second safely. Burchanowski thought better of a throwdown without truly being warmed up from the catcher role. Cadney's checks the runners. Here's the pitch. High for a ball. 2-1 the count to Reinhardt. Tate delivers. Low. And now it's 3-1. 2 outs here in this inning. 1 run in, 2 runners on, and a 3-1 count. Hit right back past the pitcher, and a single for Reinhardt will score 1, maybe 2. Burkholder has it, but the throw is not going to be in time to stop the runner from scoring. And it is 6-4 on the single from Reinhardt. Yowie now, he's got 2 Ks, 1 in the first and 1 in the third. As the Red Dragons pick away at the Wolfpack lead, 3 runs here in the fourth, put them back within 2. Yowie stepping in. He swings on that, hits it towards right field. It'll fall in for a hit. Anderson fields it. The runner is coming home and will score. Reinhardt makes it a 1-run game off the single from Yowie. And that'll bring up Lombardo. Runner on first for Lombardo, that's Yowie. That pitch outside. Yowie takes off for second. And that ball bounces past the second baseman into center field. And Coach Hare wanted a check from the field official if the batter swung on that. The official ruling is no. So the 1-0 outside. 2-0 now. Tate's pitch, swung on. It'll get to first, fielded there by Hinsdale. He flips it to Cadney's and they escape the inning. Really nice fielding play there by Bryce Hinsdale to get out of the inning. Not before 4 runs from Maple Grove in a 6-5 ball game as we head to the bottom half of the fourth here in Clymer on the 98.9 Sports Stream.
Funding for this Channel 98.9 Sports Stream broadcast comes from Lictus Oil and Propane in Clymer. Family-owned Lictus Oil and Propane continues to supply liquids and fluids for agriculture, industry, and homeowners. Heating oil and propane services and off-and-on diesel fuel services are also offered. The Channel 98.9 Sports Stream thanks Lictus Oil and Propane for their continued support.
When the game is on the line, championship teams know the game plan. They communicate and work together to win. We all need a game plan to protect ourselves online. Talk to family and friends so they know how to stay safe too. Create strong passwords, turn on multi-factor authentication, update software, and recognize and report phishing, because online safety is not something you want to fumble. Get more game-winning tips at cisa.gov/secure-our-world. Then share them with family and friends.
Support for CSP Wolfpack Baseball coverage is provided in part by Tina Dills, ERA Team VP Licensed Real Estate Agent, serving the Wolfpack listening area in all of Chautauqua County with real estate services for buyers, sellers, vacation rentals, and all relocation needs. For more information on how to get your move going, Tina can be reached at 716-397-7790. Tina Dills and the ERA Team VP Agents wish the Wolfpack the best of luck.
Corry's only locally operated radio station is Channel 98.9 with your Erie weather, your favorite personalities.
Thank you so much for joining us on a Monday.
You see today local news, entertainment, and information around the clock. And Corry's Modern Rock. Channel 98.9, your one radio station.
And we welcome you back into Clymer, a 6-5 CSP lead as we head to the bottom of the fourth inning. Not a great inning there for the CSP pitcher, Tate Catneys, as he gives up 4 runs there to allow Maple Grove back within a run. And the Wolfpack offense will try to fix that problem here, as it'll be the 2-3-4 Hinsdale, Catneys, Spiesman due up for the Pack. Cornell preparing to pitch his second inning of work for the Red Dragons. He threw 14 pitches in the first inning that he pitched. That was the third, getting 3 outs and 4 batters. He continues to warm up with his catcher. And what we witnessed in the last inning, Max White injured, had to come off the field, replaced by McCaleb Anderson. Anderson goes to right field. The right fielder, Groders, goes to second base. The second baseman, Abers, goes to shortstop. And the shortstop, Burchanowski, goes to catcher. Hinsdale ready to go, waiting for this pitcher warm-up to end, as the Wolfpack eager to get the bottom of the fourth started and try and get back some of that lead that they had established. And final pitch made by Cornell now. Here comes Bryce Hinsdale. So Bryce waiting for the infield conference now as the Dragons all come together. 6-5, bottom of the fourth. Thought we might be heading to a 10-run rule fifth with a 6-1 score, but now the Wolfpack have to battle to reestablish themselves with only a 1-run lead. Good news, they're led off by Bryce Hinsdale, who's reached base twice already today. An error in the first allowed him to score. He reached base and then stole 2 bases and then scored. And then hit a double in the second. That scored with an RBI double to bring home Burchanowski, and eventually scored as well in that at-bat. First pitch to him, high for ball 1. Tate coming up second. He's on deck circle. He is 2 for 2 on the day with 3 RBIs already. So the right guys coming up at the right time, hopefully here for the Wolfpack. Cornell's pitch to Hinsdale. Called strike on the outside half. 1-1 now. Cornell's pitch, swung on, fouled off by Hinsdale. Bryce a little early to that one, sent it all the way down to the fence, but outside of the third base fence where it lands. Count now 1-2. Cornell winds and fires. Bryce swings on it, fouls it off into his own dugout this time. He goes from being early to being late, and that one more of a defensive swing there to stay alive in the at-bat. The 1-2. Cornell gets his sign. Here's the pitch. Bryce swings, hard hit ball to the first baseman, fielded on the bounce, and he is retired. All right, here comes Catneys now. First pitch to him. High for ball 1. And from the time that ball left the pitcher's hand to when it reached the catcher, it rose about 8 inches. Interesting pitch. Here's the next one from Cornell. Sidearm delivery almost hits him. So Cornell throwing both that sidearm delivery and the 3/4 arm. He's behind 2-0. We'll see him switch to his fastball here, I would assume. And he does. Swung on by Tate and fouled off. So it's 2-1. And I had the sneaking suspicion Cornell would have to go back to his fastball to try to get a strike there, and I think Tate was sitting on that fastball waiting for it. Got what he wanted, but just a little bit late. There's the pitch. Tate swings hard to left field. Left fielder tracking it at the fence, and he makes the catch and falls down. But he holds on to the baseball. And a nice play there by the left fielder to retire Tate Cadneys. That is Price, the left fielder, making that nice play over there at the fence. Spiesman now, he struck out twice today. He comes up with 2 outs here in the fourth and a 6-5 lead for the Wolfpack. Cornell winds and fires. Over Spiesman's head, hits the backstop here in front of me. Anderson on deck as he's replaced White in the batting order. The 1-0 to Spiesman. Swung on, hit the right field. The right fielder tracking it. He's on the run. And that one's going to fall in there. He was just a little behind it and let it fall in front of him. So reaching by error there is Spiesman. And Caleb Anderson now. Anderson, his first at bat of the day. 2 outs, runner on first is Spiesman. That pitch is outside. They'll try to gun Spiesman. The ball goes into right field. Spiesman takes off for second now. The right fielder finally gets to the ball, and Spiesman's there safely. One-0 to Anderson. Now he has a runner in scoring position. That's Spiesman. Cornell checks the runner. He'll step off and make sure Spiesman knows he's serious. And Spiesman quickly back to second. No throw needed. Cornell back on the bump now. He'll throw high to Anderson. Second ball. Two-0 now to Anderson. Here's the pitch. Down in the dirt. Hops past him. And Spiesman up to third. 3-0 now to Caleb Anderson. Isaiah Burkholder on deck for the Wolfpack should he get the opportunity. Cornell needs to find a strike here. Gets his sign. Checks Spiesman. Now he fires. And Anderson swings at the high pitch for strike one. 3-1 now. Cornell gets his sign and fires. That one's high. He'll walk Anderson. That brings up Burkholder with runners on the corners and 2 outs here in the fourth. Isaiah, a strikeout in the first and a flyout in the second. Opportunity for an RBI here if he can get a base knock. First pitch. He swings on it. It's going to drop in there in center field for a base hit. He'll score Spiesman and extend the Wolfpack lead to 7-5. Anderson up to third on that. A nice single there from Burkholder. First pitch single, too. Brady Phelps now. 2 ground outs today for Brady. First and third. He'll come up here in the fourth now with runners on the corners. 2 outs and a 7-5 lead. Outside, off takes Burkholder, and he's going to reach second standing up. They'll try the double steal, and he's home. That's Anderson coming home on the double steal. Really well-ran play there by the Wolfpack, and they'll get Burkholder up to third after that one got away from the catcher. How about that little turn of events? Very nice there by the Pack. He waited till the catcher released the ball to second, and then Anderson took off on the double steal and scores. 8-5. That pitch high. Phelps ahead 2-0. Cornell fires. Phelps fouls it off back to the fence. And now 2-1. He has Burkholder on third. He can do some more damage here for the Pack should he be able to get a piece of one. The 2-1 from Cornell. Swing and a miss for Phelps. Count now 2-2. Oh, that was the strike 3. I'm pretty sure the count was 2-2. Well, strikeout. Regardless, I'm not in charge. The umpire is. And down goes Phelps. But not before the Wolfpack re-extend their lead to 8-5. And we'll take another break for a word from our sponsors here on the 98.9 Sports Stream.
Funding for this Channel 98.9 Sports Stream broadcast comes from Lictus Oil and Propane in Clymer. Family-owned Lictus Oil and Propane continues to supply liquids and fluids for agriculture, industry, and homeowners. Heating oil and propane services and off-and-on diesel fuel services are also offered. The Channel 98.9 Sports Stream thanks Lictus Oil and Propane for their continued support.
Support for Wolfpack baseball coverage on the Channel 98.9 Sports Stream is provided by Countertop Solutions in Clymer. Go Wolfpack from Countertop Solutions.
CSP baseball coverage on the Channel 98.9 Sports Stream is provided in part by Steve Daniels Electric and Flicks Heating and Plumbing and Air Conditioning, located at 147 East Main Street in Corry. They offer residential and light commercial new services, as well as electrical repairs, well pumps, and water conditioning systems. Phone 814-665-6034. Online at flicksheatingplumbingandac.com.
School sports are played by humans, coached by humans, and officiated by humans. So the next time you're sitting in the stands at a school athletic event, please remember this and maintain your humanity, especially when it comes to judging and critiquing athletes, coaches, and officials. Please show your fellow humans some respect. They'll appreciate your empathy.
This message presented by NISFA and the New York State Athletic Administrators Association.
Catney is back out on the bump with an 8-5 lead here as we reach the top of the 5th inning. Cornell, the 4-hitter, will lead off. Dar and Dahlberg due up for the Red Dragons. Cornell, he's been the relief pitcher who's come on and pitched a couple innings now for them. First pitch to him, he gets a piece of it, bounces over Catney's, fielded by Abers, and on time for the out. Abers, a nice play there from the shortstop position, and the first out of the inning has been recorded. And that brings up Dar. Dar singled back in the 4th and struck out in the 2nd. First pitch to him. Swung on, hit towards left center. Tracking it is Burkholder, and he'll rein it in, but not before the single from Dar. Dahlberg now, the first baseman. 1 out, 1 on here in the 5th. They trail 8-5. Caddy's pitches, swung on. That one's going to be played at second. They'll see if they can turn 2 here. They got the first. They did not get the second. So Dar thrown out. Dahlberg reaches because of the fielder choice. Another first pitch swing, by the way, for Maple Grove. So 3 batters, 3 first pitch swings. Brown, the right fielder, due up now. He reached by error in the 2nd and struck out in the 4th. Cadney's winds and fires. Called strike. First batter to see more than 1 pitch this inning. Cadney's pitch is outside for ball 1. One to Brown. Swings the high ball, and it's a strike 2. So 1-2 now. Tate fires. Drops in there for strike 3. Really nice pitch from Tate Cadneys, and the side is retired We'll go to the bottom of the fifth here in just a few moments on the 98.9 Sports Stream.
Coverage of CSP Wolfpack Baseball is brought to you in part by Caflisch Pallet and Wood Services in Clymer, a leading provider of new heat-treated and recycled pallets and wood services since 1993. Find them online at caflischpallet.com. Phone 716-355-4354. Caflisch Pallet and Wood Services wishes the Wolfpack the best of luck this season.
Support for Wolfpack Baseball on the Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream is provided by Mosher's Carpeting at 8631 East Main Street in Clymer. Mosher's has carpeting and all types of flooring, serving the area for over 27 years. Online at mosherscarpeting.com.
Support for coverage of CSP Baseball on the Channel 98.9 Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream is provided by Triple E Manufacturing in Sherman. Triple E offers equine products, promotional items, embroidery, and printing services. 800-295-4282 or online at tripleemanufacturing.com.
Wolfpack Baseball on the Channel 98.9 Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream is provided in part by Necker's Company General Store, providing Clymer with groceries, apparel, gift items, and so much more for over 100 years. The Channel 98.9 Sports Stream thanks Necker's Company General Store for their support. Funding for this broadcast on the Channel 98.9 Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream is provided in part by J. Edwards Insurance. With offices at 9 East Main Street in Panama and 800 West 3rd Street in Jamestown, J. Edwards Insurance is an independent insurance service providing auto, business, farm, and homeowners insurance. We treat you like family. Online at jedwardsinsurance.com. Best of luck to the Wolfpack this season from J. Edwards Insurance, serving New York and Pennsylvania since 1957.
8-5, bottom of the fifth, the Wolfpack up, and they're also up to bat here as Mason Groders, Johnny Abers, and Gavin Burchanowski due up to start off at least this fifth inning. Groders 2 strikeouts today, 1 in the second, 1 in the third. He'll come up here in the fifth looking for some retribution at the plate. His team holding on to a 8-5 lead here in the fifth inning. Cornell, the pitcher, he's on his third inning now for the Red Dragons. He'll throw his 38th pitch of the game at the start of this inning. High for ball 1. Cornell's pitch to Groders. Swung on, and it's in foul territory. The first baseman trying to track it, and he makes the catch. First out of the inning there on the fly out to first. Johnny Abers now, he's walked twice today. Walked in the second and walked again in the third. In the second, he did score thanks to a Bryce Hinsdale RBI. See if he can get himself on base here in the fifth. First pitch from Cornell to him. He shows bunt, and they say he did keep it down too long, and that will count as a strike. Abers behind 0-1. The pitch. Called strike in the top of the zone, and it's 0-2. Now Johnny got to play defense at the plate here, behind 0-2. The pitch from Cornell. Very high, and it goes to 2-1, or 1-2. Cornell lines and fires. Swing and a miss for Abers. He goes down swinging. 2 outs here in the fifth. That brings up Burchanowski. Gavin, a single in the first, a single in the second. He scored both of those innings, and then a fly out in the third. He comes up here with 2 outs and an 8-5 lead in the fifth. Cornell, ready to pitch. Called, strike in the top half of the zone. Cornell turns and fires way outside for ball 1. The 1-1 to Burchanowski. Almost hit him. And it's 2-1 now. Cornell shakes off the sign. Now he's ready. Winds and fires. High ball, called ball 3. 3-1 to Gavin. What can the sophomore do with it? Cornell ready now. Here's the pitch. Down in the dirt, and Burchanowski takes his base. That'll bring up the ever-dangerous lefty senior Bryce Hinsdale. Hinsdale reached by error in the first, had a double in the second, and ground out in the fourth. He comes up now with 2 outs and Burchanowski on first. Healthy lead for Gavin over there. Cornell checks him. He'll throw back to make sure Gavin gets back, and he does. Hinsdale ready now. The pitch outside. They're going to try and get Gavin at second, but he's in there standing up. That was the 50th pitch of the game for Cornell through 3 innings. Well, through 2 2/3 so far. 1-0 to Hinsdale. High ball. And it's 2-0. Gavin Burchanowski's secondary took him halfway to third that time. Keep an eye on that battle as he's trying to test Cornell. Pitch outside, but called a strike. 2-1 now. Cornell ready. Swung on by Hinsdale. It's going to get past the shortstop, charging across. It will score a Wolfpack run. Another RBI for Bryce. And that RBI single, clutch hitting here for the Wolfpack. That brings up Katniss. He's got 3 RBIs on the day from 2 big hits back in the first and second, a single in the first and a double in the second. He flew out in the fourth. He'll try to add another RBI here if he could get a double and drive in Hinsdale. Hinsdale takes off for a second. He says, "No double needed, my friend. I'm in scoring position." So now Bryce on second. A base knock, scores another one, and gives Katniss his 4th RBI. The 1-0 to Tate. Swung on, and that one's going to get past the shortstop. That's the single they were looking for. A base knock from Tate Katniss scores Bryce Hinsdale, and the Wolfpack are up 10-5. Up next is senior Andrew Spiesman. Spiesman reached back in the 4th on error and struck out in the 1st and 2nd. Cornell gets his sign. He'll pitch to the senior. Off goes Katniss for second. He's there safely. Waiting for the pitch now from Cornell. Swung on by Spiesman. Hit high in the air. Being tracked by the shortstop, and he makes the catch. So the flyout by Spiesman ends the inning, but not before the Wolfpack tack 2 more on and extend their lead to 10-5 heading to the 6th here on the 98.9 Sports Stream.
Utegg's Body Shop in Corry is helping to bring you this broadcast. Along with collision repair and refinishing, Utegg offers frame straightening services. Located at 633 East Smith Street in Corry. Utegg's Body Shop.
Man, I loved playing high school sports growing up. And it's fun being a fan now, don't get me wrong, but sitting in the stands feels like I'm missing out on all the action, you know? I wanted to get back in the game, so I signed up to be a high school official. It takes me back to my playing days. I'm supporting students, and I get paid to make the big calls. Do you want to see the game up close? Sign up to become an official in New York at highschoolofficials.com.
Support for coverage of CSP baseball action on the Channel 98.9 Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream comes from JH Napa Auto Parts. Your local Napa store stocks auto parts, tools and equipment, and other items for heavy-duty trucks, marine, and farming equipment. Located at 955 North Center Street in Corry and NapaOnline.com.
Funding for this Channel 98.9 Sports Stream broadcast comes from Lictus Oil and Propane in Clymer. Family-owned Lictus Oil and Propane continues to supply liquids and fluids for agriculture, industry, and homeowners. Heating oil and propane services and off-and-on diesel fuel services are also offered. The Channel 98.9 Sports Stream thanks Lictus Oil and Propane for their continued support.
And welcome back in here to the 98.9 Sports Stream. I'm Josh Hosier. It's 10-5 here as we head to the top of the sixth. Some interesting baseball to this point. Watching Tate Catney's warm up here for his sixth inning of work. And we're ready to get this one underway now. Pad, the catcher, the 8-hitter, will lead off for Maple Grove. Pad so far today struck out in the second and reached by hit by pitch in the fourth. 86th pitch of the game for Tate Catney is here to get this inning underway. And that's a called strike. Tate winds and fires. Pad swings and misses. Burchanowski goes down. And this is not good. Second catcher of the game to go down with injury. Well, we have an injury time. We'll send you to a word from our sponsor here on the 98.9 Sports Stream.
Funding for this Channel 98.9 Sports Stream broadcast comes from Lictus Oil and Propane in Clymer. Family-owned Lictus Oil and Propane continues to supply liquids and fluids for agriculture, industry, and homeowners. Heating oil and propane services and off-and-on diesel fuel services are also offered. The Channel 98.9 Sports Stream thanks Lictus Oil and Propane for their continued support.
Financial support for this broadcast of CSP Baseball Play-by-Play on the Channel 98.9 Sports Stream is provided in part by Stone Audiology at 709 East Columbus Avenue in Corry. Also in Bradford, Northeast, and Kane, Pennsylvania, in Jamestown, Olean, Belmont, and Chaffee, New York. Phone 814-664-7070. Online at stoneaudiology.com.
And welcome back in here to Clymer. The injury timeout for Gavin Burchanowski is coming to an end. He will stay in the game for the Wolfpack. Unlike Max White, who was injured a little bit more seriously after the collision with Tate Catney's earlier. And we'll resume with an 0-2 count for Pad, the catcher. He's the leadoff batter here in the sixth for the Red Dragons. Tate ready, winds and fires. That pitch high for ball one. And it's 1-2. That pitch high for ball two. Tate gets his sign, turns and fires, and swing and a miss there. He'll retire Pad for the first out of the inning. Price now, the left fielder, struck out in the second, flew out in the fourth. Catney's ready. He fires, swung on, hit up in the air. Burkholder watching it and retires Price. 2 down. Reinhardt, the shortstop now. He walked in the first and singled in the fourth. He comes up with 2 outs, trailing 10-5 here in the 6th. Tate ready to go. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Tate gets his sign. The 0-1. Swing and a miss, and now it's 0-2. To Reinhardt. Called strike 3, and the side is retired. We head to the bottom of the 6th here momentarily on the 98.9 Sports Stream.
Funding for this Channel 98.9 Sports Stream broadcast comes from Lictus Oil and Propane in Clymer. Family-owned Lictus Oil and Propane continues to supply liquids and fluids for agriculture, industry, and homeowners. Heating oil and propane services and off-and-on diesel fuel services are also offered. The Channel 98.9 Sports Stream thanks Lictus Oil and Propane for their continued support.
When the game is on the line, championship teams know the game plan. They communicate and work together to win. We all need a game plan to protect ourselves online. Talk to family and friends so they know how to stay safe too. Create strong passwords, turn on multi-factor authentication, update software, and recognize and report phishing, because online safety is not something you want to fumble. Get more game-winning tips at cisa.gov/secure-our-world. Then share them with family and friends.
Support for CSP Wolfpack Baseball coverage is provided in part by Tina Dills, ERA Team VP licensed real estate agent, serving the Wolfpack listening area in all of Chautauqua County with real estate services for buyers, sellers, vacation rentals, and all relocation needs. For more information on how to get your move going, Tina can be reached at 716-397-7790. Tina Dills and the ERA Team VP agents wish the Wolfpack the best of luck.
Corry's only locally operated radio station is Channel 98.9. With your eerie weather, your favorite personalities.
Thank you so much for joining us on a Monday.
You see today local news, entertainment, and information around the clock. And Corry's modern rock. Channel 98.9, your one radio station.
Welcome back in here to senior night in Clymer. The Wolfpack celebrating their 5 seniors and leading 10-5 here in the bottom of the 6th. Cornell finishing his warm-up, and he'll get ready to pitch to the pack here momentarily. It'll be Anderson, Burkholder, Phelps due up. And thinking about the Wolfpack and the 7th inning coming up, Tate Catney's up in the 90s in his pitch count. And the thing is, the 2 guys who would typically be his relievers in interesting situations, Max White left the game with injury, and Gavin Burchanowski had to move from short to catcher to take over for White. I think making neither of them available to pitch. I mean, Burchanowski could go to the mound, but who's going to catch him? And so we'll see what happens here. If it comes down to it, you might see a utility player pitching, such as Andrew Spiesman. Interesting situation. Cornell almost ready to get the bottom of the 6th started. Caleb Anderson, who walked in his prior at bat after the White injury, back in the 4th, will step in first here for the Wolfpack to try to extend this 10-5 lead. Here comes the entire infield to the mound for a conference. Anderson, Phelps, Anderson, Burkholder, Phelps due up. Groders and Abers, the 8-9. Getting a little bit ahead of myself there in the lineup. 10-5, done pretty much every way you can do it. Lots of walks, lots of hits, some errors. And now Caleb Anderson will try to keep that offense going here in the bottom of the 6th. He's in the box. Cornell set to pitch to him. And Cornell winds and fires. Swung on by Anderson, a slow bouncer on the third base line, fielded by the third baseman. The throw is not in time. Anderson is safe. Real slow roller there by Anderson. Almost a perfectly kind of speed off the bat and slow roller down through the dirt. Worked out perfectly for him to give a base runner to Brady Phelps now, who steps in. Or sorry, Isaiah Burkholder. It's the second time I've done that. Anderson thought about taking off. They threw the ball over through the first baseman. But by the time he got off the bag, the first baseman already had retained the ball. So Burkholder struck out in the first, flew out in the second, singled in the fourth, and that was an RBI single. He gets a piece of that one down the third base line, and they call it foul. Anderson all the way to third. He was ready to go on that one. Burkholder back in the box, 0-1. Cornell's pitch, outside, ball one. Cornell checks the runner, that's Anderson. Now the 1-1. Burkholder swings and a miss, get past the catcher. Anderson will move up to second. And it's 1-2 to Burkholder. Phelps on deck for the Pack. Here's the pitch. Swung on by Burkholder, hits the ground, bounces towards third. The pitcher bobbles it, and both runners are safe. Burkholder reaches off a really nice piece of hitting there off the dirt. And Brady Phelps now. Runners on the corner for the senior. Brady a ground out in the first, the third, and a strikeout in the fourth. That ball high for ball one. Burkholder safely to second. And now Brady Phelps here in a good situation. 2 runners in scoring position, no out, and a 10-5 lead. And a 1-0 count. Called strike on the outside half. Phelps awaits the 1-1 from Cornell. Swing and a miss. And it's 1-2. Cornell gets his sign, checks the runners. Here's the pitch. Phelps fouls it off. And a nice battle here between these two. The senior waits for the 1-2 over his head, and the count goes to 2-2. Nice play there by the catcher. That's Pad. He made a nice snag there to prevent a run from scoring. 2-2 to Phelps. Checks his swing, and the count goes full. Cornell gets his sign, takes a look over at third at Anderson, and here comes the pitch. High, catcher lets it get away from him, but the runners stay where they're at. Phelps walks, and the bases are loaded. That brings up the freshman, Mason Groders. Strikeout in the second and third, and fly out in the fifth. What a good time to be due here for Mason Groders. Cornell ready, pitches. Groders gets a piece towards center. It's going to fall in there. It'll score at least one. They'll send another. 2 RBI single by Mason Groders, and clutch hitting there from the freshman. And talk about being due and coming through in the clutch. That's what just happened for Mason Groders. Phelps to second, and here comes Johnny Abers, the sophomore. Abers walked in the second and third and struck out in the fifth. He comes in now with 2 on and no outs in the sixth. That pitch a ball outside. We'll see what Johnny does with the early lead in the count here. 1-0. Here's the pitch. Johnny shows bunt. He does lay one down, but it goes foul. (12-5) Wolfpack. 2 on, no outs. And Abers in a 1-1 count with Cornell. A pitch outside for a ball. Two one now. Groder's taking a nice lead off first. They'll try and throw him back. He is back in plenty of time. And the catcher pad wants to have a chat with Cornell. Still 2-1. Groders takes another healthy lead on first. He has a runner in front of him. That's Phelps on second. Here's the pitch. High for ball 3. And Abers now with a hitter's count, 3-1. They don't want to walk him here. That'll load the bases for the top of the lineup. Cornell gets his sign. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Called. Strike 2. Count goes full for Johnny Abers. The full count to the sophomore. Inside, he walks. And the base is now loaded for Gavin Burchanowski. Burchanowski singled in the first, he singled in the second, flew out in the third, and walked in the fifth. High for ball 1. Swung on, fouled off by Gavin. (1-1). Cornell gets his sign. Base is loaded. Here's the pitch. Called. Strike up high. And it's 1-2. Gavin waits. Cornell has his sign. Here's the pitch. High, and the count goes to 2-2. That's the 80th pitch of the game for Cornell. He's in a tight spot with bases loaded, no outs, and a 2-2 to Burchanowski. High, and he loads the count up. Payoff pitch time for the sophomore. Cornell shakes off the sign. He's ready. Here it comes. High, ball 4. He'll walk in a run. And time called by Maple Grove, likely the end for Cornell. And it will be. They'll change pitchers. Cornell threw 82 pitches. He made it 3 innings. Let's get a quick word from our sponsor. Come back once the pitcher warm-ups are done here on the 98.9 Sports Stream.
Funding for this Channel 98.9 Sports Stream broadcast comes from Lictus Oil and Propane in Clymer. Family-owned Lictus Oil and Propane continues to supply liquids and fluids for agriculture, industry, and homeowners. Heating oil and propane services and off-and-on diesel fuel services are also offered. The Channel 98.9 Sports Stream thanks Lictus Oil and Propane for their continued support.
Support for Wolfpack baseball coverage on the Channel 98.9 Sports Stream is provided by Countertop Solutions in Clymer. Go Wolfpack from Countertop Solutions.
CSP baseball coverage on the Channel 98.9 Sports Stream is provided in part by Steve Daniels Electric and Flicks Heating and Plumbing and Air Conditioning, located at 147 East Main Street in Corry. They offer residential and light commercial new services, as well as electrical repairs, well pumps, and water conditioning systems. Phone 814-665-6034. Online at flicksheatingplumbingandac.com.
School sports are played by humans, coached by humans, and officiated by humans. So the next time you're sitting in the stands at a school athletic event, please remember this and maintain your humanity, especially when it comes to judging and critiquing athletes, coaches, and officials. Please show your fellow humans some respect. They'll appreciate your empathy.
This message presented by NISFA and the New York State Athletic Administrators Association.
And welcome back into Clymer here on senior night, 13-5, the Wolfpack up here in the bottom of the sixth, and a tough situation for Dahlberg coming in relief of Cornell here. Bases loaded, and Hinsdale, Cadney, Spiesman due up. No outs here in the bottom of the sixth. Hinsdale will be the first batter. He reached by error in the first, doubled in the second, grounded out in the fourth, and singled in the fifth. He's got 2 RBIs on the day. And then Katniss, who will be following him in the on-deck circle, has 3 hits and a ground out, 3 RBIs on the day. And we're ready to get this thing back underway here in the sixth. First pitch to Bryce, outside for ball 1. The lefty waits for the pitch from Cornell. Swung on, hit to right center, the right fielder tracking it. Now the center fielder calls him off, and he'll make the catch there. The tag up on third, and home comes Mason Groders. And Burchanowski stays at first. Abers moves up to third. The fly out for Hinsdale gives him his 3rd RBI of the game. And now Katniss. 1 out. Runners on the corners. Pitch outside for ball 1. And Burchanowski gets to second safely. The 1-0 to Tate. Outside, ball 2. (14-5) Wolfpack here in the bottom of the sixth. Tate swings at that high fastball and takes his first strike of the at-bat. (2-1) for Katniss. He swings, gets a piece of that one. It trends foul, and we'll get all the way over the right side fence, or the left side fence over here by third base. 2-2 now to Tate. The pitch. Swung on. That one's to left field. It's going to drop in there. That RBI single brings home Abers and gives them the 10-run lead to put this thing away. That single, his 4th RBI of the game, his 4th hit of the game. If Tate Catanese isn't the player of the game here on senior night, I don't know who is. He pitched a really, really good game, throwing 94 pitches, getting 10 strikeouts, giving up only a couple hits. And, of course, his offensive statistics absolutely fantastic. The Wolfpack back on the winning ways after tonight's game here against Maple Grove. We'll see you tomorrow night in Brockton for Game 7 of 8 in 9 days. I'm Josh Hosier. This is the 98.9 Sports Stream. Thanks for joining us. Wolfpack wins.
Thanks for listening to this broadcast of CSP Wolfpack Baseball on the Channel 98.9 Lictus Oil and Propane Sports Stream at channel989.org. This broadcast is presented by Countertop Solutions, Caflisch Pallet and Wood Supply, Triple E Manufacturing, Necker's Company General Store, Daniels Electric and Flicks Heating and Plumbing, Troyer's Greenhouse, by Stone Audiology, by Whiteland Surveying, J.H. Napa Auto Parts, Mosher's Carpeting, J. Edwards Insurance, Utegg's Body Shop, by Lictus Oil and Propane, and Tina Dills, ERA Team VP Licensed Real Estate Agent. Tune in next time for all the action of CSP Wolfpack Baseball